With several former Cowboys getting brand new NFL contracts and a couple of Cowboy linebackers fresh off of their NFL Combine performances, let's talk about some of the linebackers that could also fulfill their NFL draft preparation dreams after a few years in Stillwater, America.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms, visually as well on YouTube. Find me personally on X at Alldeo State. Today, we're partially brought to you by TurboTax. Get ready for the stress-free tax season with the most money back guaranteed. By heading on over to TurboTax.com today, you can get matched with your expert that's going to help you get the most out of your tax squeeze. Speaking of squeezing, Oklahoma State has found a way over the years to get several Cowboys in the NFL, even at the position of linebacker. Going all the way back to even Devin Harper, Malcolm Rodriguez, Amen Ogbongbemiga. Now you have Nick Martin, and you also have Colin Oliver. They both found ways to excel in the NFL Combine. Of course, Pro Day is going to give even more of an opportunity for them to plead their cases for why they should be one of the top linebackers chosen in this next NFL draft. It has been proven time and time again, especially recently, that the defensive side of the ball at Oklahoma State does more than enough to get you prepared for the NFL, primarily with the services of Rob Glass, the number one strength coach in the country. Whenever you have the ability to pack on pounds, also shed body fat, and get faster, that's going to help you kind of catapult yourself into this stratosphere of NFL draft worthy. Oklahoma State has made a killing over the years getting the 2-star, 3-star guys that we had to build up. And after a couple of years, they were legitimately able to compete at the biggest levels in college football, and they're still doing it in the NFL. This is going to be no different for some of the Cowboys that are on this current roster, kind of like Brian McCoy. I think Janavian Bradley is going to be somebody that has the opportunity to find himself in the NFL draft board someday. And we also have to make sure that while we're doing that, we're filling the coffers with a significant amount of talent behind them. And I already feel much different about the recruiting cycle as it sits right now. The SEC and NFL pedigree that Todd Grantham has brought over with the assistants, Cap Deedy, Ryan McNamara, Jules Montanar, just to name a few on top of Ryan Osborne, they're going to be able to capitalize, I think, in some areas in recruiting that we haven't always been able to do. With that being said, we are going to have to tackle some of the massive dollar bills that come by way of the N.I.L collectives all over across the country in the biggest brands in America. In order to do that, I think we should isolate some of the top talent. So let's start off with an individual that I have had the pleasure of covering in person, and that is Tai'Yion Tank King. 6'1", 205-pound, 4-star Port Arthur, Texas linebacker. Last year alone had 141 tackles, 23 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Tank is the dude that you want coming off the bus first. He looks like that guy all day, every day. He gets to work with the legendary Texas linebackers coach, Donnie Baggs, which does have a connection to Oklahoma State. We've got some linebackers currently on the roster that have done years of work with Donnie Baggs as well. He has a 3.4 GPA, so the cerebral side of the game is not going to be difficult for him. He runs a 4.40 all day, every day. Guys, I've watched him run almost stride for stride with Reggie McNeil Jr. He breaks faster than most Division I safeties on the ball. He loves contact. He loves big moments. He's exceptional in breaking down his technique live in gameplay. His closing speed is legitimately scary. He was the MVP in an event that I covered last year in Houston. Speaking of being down in the Houston area, we are going to have to battle the likes of Texas A&M, Texas, Bama, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Penn State, Florida, Michigan, TCU, Arizona State, Nebraska. The list goes on and on and on. The who's who of college football is all vying for the services of Tai'Yion Tank King. But I feel like if we continue to press with Todd Grantham, the NFL and the SEC pedigree that he's brought into Stillwater, Oklahoma with the staff, this is a legitimate option for us here. Another legitimate option that is classified as a warm designation online is Ja'Cory Smith. The 6', 195-pound linebacker from Little Rock, Arkansas, is a consensus 4-star. He's ranked the number 12 linebacker in America, number 2 overall prospect in the state of Arkansas. He is a proven, tried and true winner who's won multiple state titles. Speed kills, and he has speed for days. On top of the Bamas, the Arkansas, Florida State, K-State, Michigan, OU, Ole Miss, K-State's, Notre Dame's, A&M, Mississippi, whatever it is, if you think one of the top teams in America, they're probably after the services of both of these young men. But I feel like we were able to get in early. And again, we have a sales pitch in the recruiting landscape that we haven't always had the ability to even pretend to offer. We have that now, and we have a lineage of several NFL linebackers that have come by way of Oklahoma State that should help accentuate the point that you can do the same thing in Stillwater, Oklahoma. You can also not just be a number, not just be a name, but you can be a massive piece of getting Oklahoma State not only where they're supposed to be back in Arlington competing for Big 12 titles, but making a name for ourselves in the CFP. You got to have this kind of talent to do it. Now, we'll move on here to Rickland Holmes. I did cover him yesterday, so it's a little bit of a cheat code here, so we won't go through everything. But basically, when you have 236 tackles, 152 of those being solo with 28 tackles for loss, 15 sacks, 2 picks, 119 carries for 910 yards at 7.6 yards per clip, and 1,038 total yards combined with double-digit touchdowns, yeah, you're going to be a winner. Plus, you have the legacy connection of your dad being a Cowboy himself that should be able to shine through if the Dale City product is able to come on down to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Another Oklahoma product that I feel pretty confident would find the best capabilities for himself in Stillwater, Oklahoma is that of Bixby's own Trey McLaughlin, the 6'3", 195-pound linebacker / wide receiver. He also has some carries and receptions, proving his ability to play both ways, but his defense is already power 4 level. Coming in with 106 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, double-digit quarterback hurries, 4 picks, runs a sub-4.5 40, has a 37-inch vertical. And this is an individual that you can just tell he eats, sleeps, breathes football. He wants to run through walls regardless of what it does for his body. He plays with that reckless abandon that you're legitimately looking for as a coach, especially as a young dude. It is hard to get everybody to buy into the system, to also buy into the nutrition and the weight room and deal with the bumps and bruises and dings that come with playing power 4 big boy football. Speaking of playing power 4 big boy football, Jamarion Phillips could do that in spades. The 6'1", 220 pounds, South Oak Cliff, Texas product has 95 tackles, 55 of those being solo, 23 tackles for loss. He's already top 20 in the state of Texas this previous season with 14 sacks. He's been player of the game multiple times, lives in the backfield. He's an absolute nightmare to block, which is why most people fail at it, causing so many MAs by the opposition that they probably don't score all that well when it comes to the film analysis. He also has the ability to get in on punt blocks, has multiple punt blocks, even some for touchdowns. Whenever he makes his decision off the read and react, he shoots out like a cannon. He has an absolutely incredible first step, and he's a sure tackler that is not going to have any obstacles getting used to this level and sifting through the madness and the blockers to get into the backfield. We're going to continue this thing here. Next up is Maximus Corbin, 6'3", 212-pound Melissa, Texas, a linebacker, was formerly a quarterback. So statistically, he doesn't have a lot in the way of defensive stats, but it doesn't matter. His first year ever playing on the defensive side of the ball, he was the 5A Defensive Newcomer of the Year, Under Armour All-American MVP at linebacker in the most recent Under Armour Dallas camp. He ended the season with 40 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 10 tackles for loss, 2 picks, multiple touchdowns. He's being trained by the former Dallas Cowboy and 9-year NFL veteran linebacker Jay March. He's already got interest from the UTEPs, UTSA, Texas States of the world. He's been gaining steam, especially after this Under Armour performance, from the likes of UNLV, South Florida, Baylor, SMU, TCU. SMU, they're coming on really, really strong. He's been to Baylor already a couple times. He has come to Stillwater, Oklahoma. So this is another individual that he's going to excel as the season progresses, much like his other Melissa, Texas buddy, Gunnar Wilson. Whenever you're looking at this Under Armour thing, they did a little bit of a write-up on him. Naturally, if you win the MVP of the camp, they're going to do a write-up. This is what they had to say about Corbin. Corbin stood out at the Under Armour Dallas camp, earning linebacker MVP honors with his impressive combination of skill, athleticism, and physicality. At 6'3", 212 pounds officially, he displayed great instincts, great reaction time, and the ability to cover ground effortlessly. Corbin's performance at the Under Armour Dallas camp solidified his reputation as one of the top emerging linebackers in the entire class. Another individual from the state of Texas that we have talked about before, we've covered before, and that is Tatum Evans. At 6'1", 215 pounds, this Grapevine, Texas product is a two-time 5A All-District Dave Campbell, Texas, top 40 linebackers after an 83 tackle season with 9 tackles for loss, 11 quarterback pressures, 2 pass breakups. I know I can't speak English sometimes. Forced fumble. He's also had 2 block kicks. Because of his read and react capabilities being next level, already working with the legendary Donnie Baggs. See, that connection is back here again. He's underrated in the weight room. His strength is absolutely incredible. Benching 300, squatting 415, over a 30-inch vertical. Had very early interest from Notre Dame, Texas A&M, SMU, TCU, and then obviously Oklahoma State. We were able to jump in early. There is a Brian Nardo connection, but talent is talent. So it doesn't matter if there's going to be a transition in the coaching staff or not. Whenever we're able to pull the trigger, the only concern that we're going to have is the same concern as everybody else, and that is the straight line speed. Most recently, he was clocked in the 4.6 range, but if you get him with body by glass, that's going to change pretty quickly. He's extremely intelligent, and that's the way he kind of makes up for his potential lack of pure straight line speed. But that's why he's getting recruited by Northwestern, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Cornell, Dartmouth, SMU, North Dakota State. Of course, SMU seems to be the most aggressive early leader in the clubhouse if he doesn't, in fact, to go the Ivy League way. But, of course, you've got the Notre Dames, Oklahoma States, A&Ms, and TCUs that are also hot on his trail. So those are just a few of the linebacker options that I think not only do we have the potential to possibly land the services of because of the new staff, because of the new direction, and the ability to restore order in Stillwater, America, but it's a little bit different. The way we're recruiting right now is light years different than in the past. These guys are a possibility. And just like you need to explore all of your possibilities in life, finances, whatever the case may be as well. Today, we get to talk a little bit about Monarch Money. Have you ever checked your bank account and wondered, well, where in tarnation did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it is really easy to lose track of your funds. That's where Monarch Money comes in. This is your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spend it all in one place. So you just stop managing your money and you start building wealth. Surprising insights are like Monarch realizing how much spending you use on food and everyday essentials. Now you can budget smarter and save more. This is the all-in-one convenience you've been looking for. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can now use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Make sure that you use the code LOCKEDONCollege, all one word, at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is monarchmoney.com. The code is LOCKEDONCollege, all one word. This is your opportunity to get half off of your first year, not month, not day, not week, the entire year. While you're staying prepared on your finances, well, let's also stay prepared on your preparations, because the best way to get the most out of your day is to have the right nutritional values alongside you. Factor makes it easy with the easy, well-crafted, chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals that are fresh, never frozen, and ready to heat and eat in just a matter of a couple minutes. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences each week, you can customize your meals to fit your specific lifestyle, whether it's Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Plus, Factor even offers wholesale smoothies, breakfast, grab-and-go snacks, all of which will keep you fueled up all day long. You're going to love that Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and the confusion of what you're going to take and pack for lunch or breakfast or whatever the case may be. If you've tried the recent Protein Plus meals, They're going to be packed with so much flavor that you're going to want them over and over again. The convenience is unbeatable. No prep, no mess, just great food in minutes. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/lockedoncollege 50 off. Use that code lockedoncollege 50 off, all one word, for 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That code is a lockedoncollege 50 off at factormeals.com. Once again, lockedoncollege 50 off. Go there today to get your 50% off plus free shipping on your first box of the fresh, never frozen Factor meals that you need to keep your day going. We get to talk about the fact that Mason Rudolph has come back home. Of course, I may feel some particular way about it, but my son's insanely happy. Okay. My son became a Pittsburgh Steelers fan when they drafted both James Washington and Mason Rudolph at the same time. I was glad that he got out of Pittsburgh because I never felt like he got treated right from the very beginning. Ben Roethlisberger, threw a big old conniption fit, and he thought it was a waste of this and that and the other. And unfortunately, Ben Roethlisberger's personal disdain for the drafting of Mason Rudolph caused some animosity between him and James Washington, and that definitely derailed James Washington's career. So I'm not a big fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, I must admit, my son's still a fan, and watching Jaylen Warren, it was pretty cool. Well, now Jaylen Warren is back as he's been tendered by the Steelers, and they let go of Najee Harris as he took his talents elsewhere to make some big dollar bills. But on top of being tenured, Jaylen Warren even got a little bit more money than was originally anticipated, indicating they anticipate him being RB1 this year. Naturally, they're going to try to get somebody through the draft. Wouldn't it be absolutely wild if they were to pick up Ollie Gordon at some point in time in the draft? But nonetheless, this is Mason Rudolph's opportunity, and the Tennessee Titans matched the 2-year, $8 million deal that the Pittsburgh Steelers put forth, but he wanted to return home to Pittsburgh where he started. He obviously feels like he's got some unfinished business in Pittsburgh. And kudos to him for being willing to do that, especially after he was treated by the fan base. And even some individuals on the roster were coming to his aid right before he was let go. Now it's going to be a battle between him and possibly Russell Wilson and possibly Aaron Rodgers. Mason Rudolph is the smart pick. He's the safe pick while you're figuring out what's going to happen with Russell, what is or isn't going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to be a Steeler? Is he going to be a Giant? Regardless, they have the safe bet in Mason Rudolph that has already helped lead them to a couple different playoff opportunities. This will be big for him. I'm excited. I'm excited that he links back up again with Jaylen Warren. It gives me more reason to watch the Steelers. He's not the only one who got a new deal. Tylan Wallace has been brought back by the Baltimore Ravens once again. And honestly, I didn't know that they would do this because he's somebody that's kind of been floating around the 4-5 spot as a wide receiver with the Ravens, but he's been massive in punt returns. He's found ways to literally win them ball games in the waning moments. And obviously they took that in consideration. They want him to continue to be a Baltimore Raven. So he has a new 1-year deal as well. On top of the new deals that are going around, former Cowboy linebacker and former San Diego Charger Amen Ogbongbemiga has been picked up once again by the Chicago Bears on a 2-year deal. This is, again, we're talking about the linebackers in recent memory that have been able to carve out a path for themselves, not only at Oklahoma State in the Big 12, but they've had successful NFL careers. I think Colin Oliver is going to be able to do something. Yeah, he's a little bit in that tweener classification, but Nick Martin is not. And even though he's not going to be your traditional 6'2", 6'3" linebacker that sometimes you're looking for in the NFL, as Malcolm Rodriguez has proven, even Devin Harper to some degree, that's not the end-all be-all. It's all about production. And some of the biggest reasons these guys were able to produce, heck, Jaylen Warren's talked about multiple times that without Rob Glass, he would have never had an opportunity to play in the NFL. He had the same cutting capabilities at Utah State, but his straight line speed did not improve in 3 years of college until he came to Stillwater. And then he was basically RB1 as soon as LD Brown had a little bit of an injury, and we got to see live on field what Jaylen Warren was able to provide. I think we've got some running backs that are kind of like him, and not only Rodney Fields, but also Sesi Vailahi. The NFL pedigree that we've been building over the years speaks for itself. The coaching staff that we now have with it, this is a massive time in recruiting, potentially for Oklahoma State. We've talked about the doors that have been open, the recruiting circles that we've now been a part of, and we're landing guys that are coming in from LSU and Oregon and Ohio State and UCLA that we didn't always have the ability to get. Now that we do, I expect us to land some of these top linebackers, get them to Stillwater, show them the success level that a lot of these guys have already been able to have and the success they've had in the NFL. You can come, be a defender in the Big 12 at Oklahoma State, get drafted, get paid, have multiple contracts and multiple years in the NFL, primarily because of the strength, the conditioning, the culture, and now the new staff that has more abilities than we've had previously. Speaking of having abilities you may not have had previously, it's March Madness time, which means you can get in on the capitalization of your pocketbook, wallet, whatever. You already know what it is. We're talking about the taxes. When you're trying to capitalize on your monetary capabilities, part of the biggest factor is knowing where your money's going in and out. And taxes is typically part of the season that we all try to avoid as much as possible. But no more waiting, no more wondering, no more worrying. You can get the most money back guaranteed with TurboTax. All of the craziness that comes with the stress of it, it can be fixed with TurboTax experts that can do your taxes as soon as today. Your TurboTax expert is going to give you their undivided attention as they work on your return while you're getting real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day-to-day living. An expert who will find you every deduction possible and file every form, every investment, and everything with 100% accuracy is ready for your call. All you have to do to get the most money back guaranteed is get with TurboTax today. Again, get rid of the waiting, the wondering, the worrying. It's tax season, but do it done right with the experts at TurboTax.com. This is only available with TurboTax Live service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guaranteed. Get rid of the stress and get with the experts that can help you the most. Make sure that you get squared away today at TurboTax.com. Cowboy baseball is about to begin Big 12 play here in just about 30 minutes or so. So this is going to be your opportunity to see a former Cowboy and Steve Sabins bring his first-year West Virginia Mountaineers into Stillwater, America. They are 15-1, and they do have, I would say, some impressive wins, primarily just because of the scores, okay? Have they played a murderer's row of a schedule? No, they haven't. But A, you have to win. They've only lost one game. They're 15-1. And B, it's kind of cool when you do it convincingly. Check out some of these scores by the West Virginia Mountaineers and the former Cowboy, Steve Sabins, who played here. Then he had an injury deal, went on to be an N.I.L All-American. He was a coach at Oklahoma State for 4 seasons, fulfilling multiple roles. This is his first head coaching job as a West Virginia Mountaineer at this level after taking over for the legendary Randy Mazey. They've won 10-3, 5-0, 7-1, 11-7, 11-1, 17-3, 16-2, 14-7, 16-5. Are they playing insane competition? No, they are not, but they're winning. Oklahoma State has played insane competition. We've also played very lackluster competition. We found ways to beat both, and we've also found ways to lose both. So from a consistency perspective, West Virginia is clearly more consistent than we are right now, which is precisely why this would do good things for Oklahoma State, not only just in the Big 12 race, but from a confidence perspective. Ironing out who's going to be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday guy. We have some ideas. I still thought we rushed Gabe Davis back a little too prematurely. He should be around 100% by now, so perhaps we see a little bit different of a Gabe Davis animal. Harrison Bodendorf has been the most consistent arm that we've had. I think Mario Pesca looked good the other day. We pulled him too early. Drew Blake's definitely had his moments. I know Ryan Urick gave up a big old bomb, but other than that, I think he's been pretty productive. Ethan Lund, Noah Weck, they can throw with the best of them. There's a reason that they were some of the top recruits in the country. There's a reason that Noah was a fairly early draft pick. If we can find a way to stop walking people and stop hitting batters, I think the pitching staff has more than enough talent to make an adequate run at not only a Big 12 championship potential style season, but also obviously the postseason. Where we sit right now, this is not a team that's going to host a regional. It is what it is. But with our difficulties in hosting our own regionals recently, that's not necessarily a bad thing. What would be a bad thing is if you don't find a way to kick off the Big 12 conference season the right way, because there are some quality ball clubs, even some of the teams that don't have very good competition. They're beating the tar out of people. Look what KU just put up, like 22, 23 some odd runs the other day. It doesn't matter who the competition is. You still have to put barrel on ball. You still have to get runners on base. You still have to move those runners around base to get in scoring position, so on and so forth. So the analytical side of the game doesn't change when you're playing lesser competition. And some of the teams in the conference that have played lesser competition, they've looked really good in doing so. West Virginia has played some decent ball clubs. I think Lipscomb's a pretty good ball club. Jacksonville State's not exactly a slouch. But this Big 12 race is going to get wild. Some of the best teams traditionally are down in the conference, like Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, TCU. And then teams that typically aren't up at the top are. Now, West Virginia, under Coach Mazey, they did win a co-championship in 2023. So it's not like they've been bad. They've been building and building and building and building. They've been a pretty daggone good ball club for a few years now. And the record is already an indication that that's not going to change anytime soon. What are we going to get out of the batting lineup? That's the question. Is Nolan Schubert going to continue to put himself in the Golden Spikes Award finalist conversation at the end of the season? Jason Jones, I think, has kind of coming around a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, he might have the most effortless swing of the bunch, including over Colin Brigham and Nolan Schubert. Avery Ortiz and Drew Culberson have kind of been splitting time at shortstop. They both provide a little bit of a different thing. Brock Thompson is starting to become a little bit more consistent. Braden Thompson hit a bomb that appeared like it was going to give us the W over Dallas Baptist the other day, but the number 20th ranked Patriots proved why they've been a massive thorn in our side, regardless of the talent we have on the roster. And they found a way to come from behind and get us in extra innings. I do think that Rob Walton got a little bit too cute, and he pulled a couple pitchers a little early, in my opinion. Right? When pitchers are cruising, especially midweek guys, you let them cruise. The given 2 innings, 3 innings, 1 inning, 2 inning thing, I just think we overthought it. I think we tried to get too cute with it. And when you're playing a good team like Dallas Baptist that can play small ball, but they can also go launching yard for you if you want to go that route, they proved once again why they are one of the top baseball programs in the country. But West Virginia gives us the opportunity to begin Big 12 play the right way against a 15-1 ball club that has a former Cowboy that you know is going to do it the right way and have his team ready to rock and roll. So we're going to have for this one right here. As always, you know I love you. God bless. Go Pokes. Thank you for tuning in to make this your first listen here in Locked On Oklahoma State. You could be anywhere. So happy you choose to be here. Like it if you like the show. Dislike it if you didn't. That's okay too. More importantly, share, comment, and subscribe my podcast and people out there. You are the bee's knees and everything that we need to keep this thing rocking and rolling. I appreciate you. Do what you do. Hit the stars. Leave a review. Later, taters.